In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the information that is on pages Excel 56 and 57. And this is where we're going to be changing attributes and alignments. Now, attributes are styling formats such as bold, italic, and underlining that you can apply to affect the way the text and numbers look in a worksheet. Now, you can paint or copy the cells format into other cells by using the Format Painter, just like we did in Word. And of course, that is in the clipboard group on the Home tab of the ribbon. And of course, this is similar to using copy and paste, but instead of copying the cell's contents, it copies only the cell's formatting. Now, you can also change the alignment of labels and values in the cell to be left, right, or centered. You can apply attributes and alignments options using the Home tab and the Format Cells dialog box, or even the mini toolbar. And now let's take a look here at step 1. Of course, step 1 tells us we want to press our Control and Home key, and that's going to take us back up to cell A1. Next, we're going to click on the bold in the font group on our ribbon. Notice the text is now bold. Step 2 tells us we're going to click on cell A3. And on this one, it tells us that we want to click the Underline button in the font group. So we go up here, and here's the Underline button. We're going to click on that. We're also going to click on the Italic button, which is the sideways I that's on here. And then finally, we're going to click on the Bold. So we're making this bold, italic, and underlined. And now that heading, you will see, appears in that boldface, underline, and italic type. Now, of course, notice that the bold, italic, and underline buttons in the font group are all selected, so they have that kind of orangish look to them. Step 4 tells us we are going to click on the italics, so we're going to remove the italics on there. But the bold and the underline attributes still remain. Because remember, any overuse of any attribute or random formatting can make a workbook difficult to read. Make sure that you're consistent by adding the same formatting to similar items throughout the worksheet or related worksheets. In step 5, it tells us we want to click the Format Painter button. So with this cell still selected, we're going to click up here on the Format Painter. Once we do that, we're going to click on and select the range B3 to J3. And when we release our mouse button, you'll notice that all of the text has now been formatted. And of course, the formatting in cell A3 has been copied to the rest of the labels and the column headings. Now, you can turn off the Format Painter by pressing Escape or just by hitting the Format Painter button. And of course, you decide the title will look better if it was centered over the data column. So that's what we're going to do next. In step 6, it tells us that we're going to select A1 to J1. So this is what we're going to do now, because right now this title is over toward the left. We want it to be balanced over top of these columns here. To do that, what we're going to do is, once we select A1 to J1, we're going to click the Merge and Center button in the Alignments group. So here we have our Alignments group right here, and right here is the Merge and Center button. We're just going to click on that button, and of course now you'll notice that the Merge and Center button creates this as one cell out of all the 10 cells that we selected earlier on there. So it's going to center the text in this newly created large cell. Now, the title Quest Specialty Travel Advertising Expenses is centered across the 10 columns that we selected. Now, you can change the alignment within individual cells using the buttons on the Home tab, such as left, center, and right up here. Of course, you can also split merged cells into their original components by selecting the merged cells and then clicking on the Merge and Center button again, because you'll notice that this is highlighted here, telling us that all these cells all together, A1 to J1, is now just one large cell. In step 7, it tells us that we want to select the range A3, and we're going to go over to J3. And on this one, we're going to right-click to make our mini toolbar appear, and we're going to click on the Center button. And of course, now notice that some of the text has been centered. Of course, we still can't see it all. That's on there as well. Now, make sure that you're comparing your screen to what you see right here. And it says, although it may be difficult to read, Notice that all the headings are centered within their cells. And we're going to work on those column widths here in just a little bit. So now just make sure that you save your work. Now, if we look on page Excel 57, excuse me. In addition to applying fonts and formatting attributes, you can rotate or indent data within a cell to further change its appearance. You can rotate text within a cell by altering its alignment. And of course, to change the alignment, you select the cell that you want to modify, and then we can click on the launcher in the alignments group. And then of course here that we can actually make our changes. So here we can actually rotate the text up to make it angle upwards, or we can rotate the text down to make it angle downwards. Or you can, this is where you just click on a position in the orientation box, or you can type in a number of degrees. Now this can be positive degrees or negative degrees. Of course, it also mentions a little bit that how you can indent cells by using the increase and decrease cell indent buttons, and those are these up here. Now we're not going to make any changes right now to our spreadsheet because we're going to make sure that our work is saved and everything, but that just shows you a little bit about how you can rotate and indent your cell entries. You're now ready to move on to the next video, in which we're going to go ahead and adjust the column width.